Name is Pickle Rick, aka the Juggler, and we are here with the latest episode of Locked into Lunacy, my JCW Lunacy review show. Was supposed to start at 6 tonight, but you know how life goes. So I'm gonna find my notes here real quick, and then we're gonna get into it. If you stop, if you're stopping by and you like what you see, don't forget to like the live and subscribe to the channel. I'll be doing this every week. Monday nights right now. I'll be reviewing the JCW Lunacy shows. I also have a TikTok over there where I have a puppet, Juggalo Muppet over there on TikTok, Pickle Rick 89. Alright, JCW episode 68. Start off the show with Vince Russo coming out with Big Vito. And Big Vito does his stick where, he talks to the Juggalo crowd and he mispronounces Juggalo. All you Juggalos, take that fucking clown paint off your faces and there'll be no more Fago juice. You know, the things he says, man. He's so good. He's so funny. He's a heel, but really is a crowd favorite. And then, of course, we have Vince Russo then talking about how he holds the new JCW Lunacy title around on his shoulder. Explains how Triple H and the WWE poached our JCW champion and Matt Cardona, and so now we need a new JCW Lunacy champion. And next week on JCW Lunacy, we're going to get Mr. Anderson versus James Storm for the JCW Lunacy Heavyweight Championship. That shit's going to be awesome. I hope, pray to God that Matt Cross isn't going to interfere. That's probably going to be a big thing. He seems to be going after Kerry Morton now, which we'll get more into as the review goes on. But I would definitely like to see a winner between James Storm and Mr. Anderson. I definitely want a champion next week. Don't want any more interference main events. I'm getting sick of the same thing every week, you know what I mean? JCW has been a great show, great entertainment. All the guys, they don't break character. They're freaking awesome. All the characters are great. A lot of the storylines are great that are going on. I like how many storylines are going on and stuff. Hey, happy Monday! Whoop whoop. But one thing I could say, and I will be perfectly honest with everybody when I don't like something about JCW Lunacy, the one thing I haven't liked is that we've had for 3 or 4 weeks in a row the interference in the main event. I feel like we shouldn't have the same ending of Lunacy 3 or 4 weeks in a row. It's the only thing that's been kind of predictable, and I hope they don't continue to do that as far as the main event is concerned. What's up, guys? How's it going? You guys watched JCW Lunacy last week? What'd you guys think of that new JCW Lunacy title? Oh, better yet, what did you guys think about Vince Russo's remarks about how he'd make a better champion than CM Punk? I have in my notes here, maybe he doesn't think he'd be as good of a champion as Drew McIntyre. Vince Russo was talking about on his podcast recently how a lot of people took it seriously apparently and were like tweeting him or like messaging him angry stuff because they thought he was serious about his disses about CM Punk and his joke about how he should put the title on himself like he did in WCW and stuff like that. I love when somebody can be very self-aware about themselves. You know what I mean? Who's that? Is Vince Russo in JCW Lunacy. And yeah, I just like when somebody can be self-aware and kind of poke fun at themselves while they're doing their whole thing. You know, it's kind of like George Lucas wearing a Han Solo shot first shirt or something. Just kind of self-aware and kind of funny. If you know the criticisms about Vince Russo throughout the years. And then after we get all that, then we have Vince Russo saying that he's gonna he's gonna end the beef once and for all with Big Vito and the St. Clair Monster Corporation. And the St. Clair Monster Corporation come out, and we basically get the announcement that sorry, we get the announcement that there's going to be a Sicilian street fight match between Big Vito and Congo Khan, and that shit's cool, man. I like all these kind of gimmick matches that we get. We get a lot of cool, entertaining shit in JCW. Um. Oh, and then as that's announced, then we get the music, the chicken hunting music. Dun, 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 dun. We get that and receive it. Big Vito looking all around and stuff like that. Um, awesome stuff, man. If you guys know, that's Violent J's theme music in JCW. And so last week on JCW, Violent J was saying in his promo that it's only a matter of time before he returns to JCW, and he's coming for Big Vito. Cannot wait for this eventual match that's going to happen, man. They better give it to us, and it better be good. Violent J versus Big Vito. Let's freaking go, man. And that's going to happen throughout the show. There's going to be different parts where Big Vito is going to be hearing the chicken hunting music. Getting scared and whatnot. Then we have the final and the best of 3 match. The final and the best of 3 series from Ninja Mac and Facade. And we got a surprise. So what I thought was going to happen was obviously Ninja Mac was going to have to retain his title because he won the first one, and then Facade won the second one. And then we couldn't have, I didn't think, hey, how's it going? I didn't think we could have Facade win twice. And it was obvious to me that both of these guys are crowd favorites. Both of these guys are baby faces. I thought having Facade win twice, and that was my prediction that Ninja Mac was going to retain this week. But I'm glad I was wrong, because what I didn't think about, of course, because I'm not an awesome writer like Vince Russo and Violent J, but of course, turning Facade heel and having him cheat to win. I was like, oh yeah, that's so genius to have him cheat to win, and then do the heel turn, because it gives us another reason to have more matches between Facade and Ninja Mac. This rivalry is not over. It's gonna get more excuses to continue as it goes on, and I think that's freaking awesome. Will the fans be able to see Facade as a heel as time goes on? We'll have to see if he's got what it takes. I haven't heard his mic skills really at all. We know he's kind of like a Rob Van Dam back in the day, where we're kind of all like, no, I'm not saying Rob Van Dam didn't have mic skills, but I'm saying like he impresses us with his athletic ability alone. He doesn't really need to say anything if he's going to be a babyface. All he needs to do is do flips around in the ring. Same thing with Ninja Mac, man. Like, think about like a Rey Mysterio or RVD or somebody like that just are so impressive with in the ring that they're just automatically baby faces and they're automatically over and stuff like that. It's harder to turn a guy like that heel, I feel like. What would it look like if RVD turned heel? What would it look like if Rey Mysterio turned heel? I don't know, man. I don't know what heel Facade will look like, but I'm not super familiar with Facade, so maybe he's been heel elsewhere. I don't doubt his ability to do it at all. I just would like to see it and be convinced of it. And then Haley J is complaining backstage to Vince Russo about being put in the gauntlet, rightfully so. So there's a three-way gauntlet, not a three-way gauntlet. There's like a 3-level gauntlet that Haley J has to go through in this episode to retain her JCW Women's title. And first she has to go against Danny Moe, and then against Mickey Knuckles, and then finally against the women's showrunner and JCW Big Al, former champion. And yeah, that's totally unfair. It's something, it puts her in an underdog spot. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But if you saw the show, you know what happens. Vito tries to basically get the Brothers of Funstruction to back him up tonight in his match, where he's going to be facing Congo Khan, and of course Mr. Happy's also going to be there. Interesting, Beastman has not been on this episode of Lunacy. I appreciate the likes, guys. Thank you so much. Sometimes we're not seeing Beastman, and I think he's a big star over in Japan, and other than that and stuff like that. But I feel like he's kind of a part timer right now in the St. Cloud Monster Corporation. But and then we'll see Big Vito attacking Mr. Happy later on. But in this segment, Big Vito tries to get the Brothers of Funstruction on his side. They say he's out of favors, and unless he has some cashola, they're not going to help him out. And he doesn't want to pay them any money. Perhaps he doesn't have any to pay them. Because next, when they walk away, see, there's this ongoing storyline that the Brothers of Funstruction or some people that Vince or Big Vito knew back in the day, and basically they're now undercover as clowns, kind of thing. And so he suspects this when he steals their wallets, and he sees they have like, it's like an Italian flag sweatband over it. It's kind of funny, but yeah. So he steals their wallets, and that'll come into play later. And then we have the debut of PCO. This guy's an absolute beast, a monster. And I guess he's like 70 years old. I heard on the House of Grimm podcast. Dude, shout out to the House of Grimm podcast. They're freaking awesome. They do live Raw reactions, live JCW Lunacy reactions. They've had a bunch of JCW Lunacy guests on their show. They've had Barnabas the Bizarre. They've had Mosh Pit Mike. They've had, let me see, Madman Pondo recently. Just Vince Russo they've had on there. Freaking awesome podcast. They're subscribed to me. I'm subscribed to them. Go subscribe to me. Go subscribe to them. Freaking House of Grimm. You won't be disappointed. So PCO comes out. He's a badass. The French Canadian Frankenstein is called, and he makes quick work of the returning suicide. Sorry about this cough, guys. I'm outside in the kind of cold weather, but it's a lot warmer than it has been. And then we have Mr. Anderson come out and say James Storm won't be here tonight because he's out recording a movie, which is friggin' awesome. I want to see that movie. I don't even know what it is, but James Storm is in it. I'll watch it. And but he's still looking for a fight tonight. And then Storm's looking for a fight tonight. Hunter Gray is the guy. Hunter Gray, freaking awesome character. He's like this mountain man with he comes out with like a bear skin on his head, and he's freaking like a savage. he was super over, at least from what I could see. He was super over when he came out, and I really want this Hunter Gray guy to be a mainstay in JCW. He's an awesome character. He's probably just a one-off kind of deal, but I really hope we get to see more of Hunter Gray in the future in some capacity because he's freaking awesome. And then we have the 3-on-1 gauntlet where Haley J defends her JCW women's title first against Danny Moe, and she makes pretty much quick work of her, pins her. Mickey Knuckles comes out, beats the holy shit out of her, and then but she's too brutal and ends up getting herself disqualified. And then Big Al comes out and she says that rule change because I'm the booker of the women's division here in JCW. I only have to get you in a 2 count and you have to get me in a 4 count to win. Doesn't matter. Haley J comes over all the odds and retains her JCW women's title. That's some cool crap that we like to see. Rooting for the underdog kind of thing. She, as the weeks go by, she's gonna keep getting the decks stacked against her, and I hope she keeps overcoming. She's kind of like a female Daniel Bryan in that respect, I feel like, in this JCW Lunacy era. And then there we have an interview with the Brothers of Construction backstage, where they start to talk about their upcoming match, perhaps next week, I think, with the Outbreak, their title defense with them. And but all of a sudden, Ruffo, or is Yabo, he starts saying that they lost their wallets, they're not in the fanny pack, and his brother Ruffo starts, they start having a back and forth about, and they both come to the conclusion that it had to be Vito that stole their wallets. So a lot of stories going on with Big Vito and the St. Clair Monster Corporation and the Brothers of Construction and the Outbreak. Like, I like how all these stories, just in the tag team division alone, but really all over JCW, all these stories are like intertwined and stuff like that. I feel like that's something you don't see on Monday Night Raw and stuff like that. Not that I'm a big WWE guy anymore nowadays, but I know they like to only give like storylines to the big guys, and then the rest of the guys are jobbers. We'll talk a little bit more about WWE because I want to get to the Royal Rumble after I talk about this episode of JCW Lunacy, because I did happen to watch the Royal Rumble this past weekend. So stay tuned for that. Yeah. Oh, we got Coach's Corner, where Coach starts talking crap about Willie Mack. Basically saying, you used to be the champion, but then you started hanging out with Too Tough Tony, got yourself barred from JCW for a while, got yourself suspended and stuff like that. Jonathan Coachman is an interesting figure. I'm sure there's people with lots of opinions on him. I'm sure there's people like me that don't have much opinions on him. That's like, oh, John Coachman's still out there, still doing his thing. I haven't seen him in a minute. But yeah, apparently his new thing is he's going to be, I think what they're trying to do with him is his new thing is he's going to be like some kind of like a heel critic, I guess, where he's going to be talking about, maybe he's just going to focus on Willie Mack. Maybe he's going to talk about multiple face wrestlers. It's really up in the air to what they're actually going to do with Coach's Corner. But this time they use it so that he can talk smack about Willie Mack. And then we have that awesome triple threat ladder match between Caleb Conley, Kerry Morton, and the Devil's favorite dealer, Cocaine. And Cocaine ends up becoming the winner due to interference again by Matt Cross. So Matt Cross originally in this storyline was starting to interfere with James Storm and Mr. Anderson's matches and the kind of main event level stuff. But recently, because of the rivalry between Matt Cross and Kerry Morton, we're starting to see that he's maybe just going to focus on Kerry Morton, which I hope is the case because I don't want him to interfere next week, like I said, with Mr. Anderson and James Storm. Um, yeah, unless he's going to get in the title picture, I want him out of the title picture, effing stuff up, because I really want a JCW champion, and I don't care really if it's James Storm, like a crowd favorite like James Storm, or it's like an awesome heel that we all love anyway. In Mr. Anderson, I really wouldn't mind either one of these guys being the JCW Lunacy champion. Um, Probably if anybody, if I was booking it, I'd probably put it on James Storm, but it wouldn't be bad to put it on Anderson either, really. And then think about what are we gonna do? So, Cocaine is the new number one contender. What's that gonna look like? Are we gonna have James Storm or Mr. Anderson defending the title against Cocaine? And when is that gonna happen? And something that's pretty interesting that sets JCW Lunacy apart, I've noticed from other wrestling promotions. Um, they don't do the when a champion loses his belt, they don't typically do the rematch clause kind of thing where like you get an automatic rematch for your title. And we've seen that. I've seen that pretty much everywhere else, most notably WWE, but I've also seen it in TNA and some other places and stuff like that. But it doesn't exist here. You lose the title, you are all the way back in the running, like all the way to the back of the line, right away. And so I'm not sure how I feel about that because I would like to see a champion. I like to see champions lose their titles. When they lose their title, I don't like to see champions lose their titles, but when they do lose their titles, uh, I think it's cool for a while to see if it was just a fluke or if they'll lose again or if they'll win it back, kind of thing. Kind of like what they're doing with Facade and Ninja Mac. I like to see that rivalry stretch out for the title. That's pretty cool stuff. So let's move on to this week's JCW Blast from the Past. We have sometime in the past we had Too Tough Tony versus Tommy Dreamer in this epic match. Looked like a lot of cool back and forth, basically like a barroom brawl kind of thing, where you just had guys throwing potatoes at each other. That being hard fists and stuff, you know what I mean? But we had Too Tough Tony winning it, and then he got to celebrate with Tommy Dreamer in the ring, drinking some Bacardi. So, yeah, that's pretty good homage to old school JCW, which, did I say JCW? Old school ECW, which JCW is very much, in my opinion at least, the embodiment of the new school of ECW. I feel like JCW is the modern day incarnate of ECW. Not just in its gimmicks, but just in its storytelling and its fan base and how it's kind of this countercultural wrestling that's out there right now. And it's really starting to rise up to mainstream popularity. So much people have tuned in and watched since we've had Vince Russo's involvement in JCW. So it's all really cool stuff, man. Then we have our main event, the Sicilian street fight between Big Vito and Congo Khan. And we had Mr. Happy get in there and try to protect Congo Khan. But then we had PCO come out for Big Vito. And so, basically find out that Big Vito paid off PCO to help him out. I think this could be a great tag team in the future. PCO and Big Vito, a cool working relationship. Big Vito needs some more allies. He's running out of allies. Vince Russo's had enough of his shit. He's not working with the Monster Corporation anymore. He needs some allies. And throughout the show, he's been hearing the chicken hunting song. And at the end of the show, he hears the chicken hunting song start up. And yeah, he's scared and looking all around. I think that's awesome, man. We're looking forward to Jay coming back and possibly getting in the ring with Big Vito. You can't tell me that there's a JCW fan out there that doesn't want to see that. So that was this week's episode 68, JCW Lunacy. And now let's actually talk about the big company. Let's talk about the big boys. Let's talk about WWE, and let's talk about the Royal Rumble. So I came in watching the Royal Rumble basically at the end of the women's Royal Rumble, and we had Liv Morgan win it. I know Liv Morgan is like the main girlfriend of Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio, awesome character. People love to hate him. He's really a big star right now, and I'm glad, man. The son of Rey Mysterio Jr. Great legacy wrestler. And I'd be interested to see what happens in WrestleMania against whoever Liv Morgan ends up going against. They have so many more women's champions in WWE now. She could go against the women's world champion, or she could go against the women's WWE champion. So just like the boys, somewhat interested in WrestleMania, but it's gonna get harder to watch these in more traditional ways, let's say, when they're making us pay for ESPN subscriptions and stuff like that. We used to have it all on Peacock, and then now we have to move over to ESPN and then Netflix, and WWE keeps splitting their stuff between different subscription services and whatnot. Yeah, man. And then let's see, we had the last match with AJ Styles versus Gunther, and we had freaking Gunther retiring AJ Styles. Not quite as bad as John Cena, because AJ Styles at least didn't look like a bitch when he went out. He just I think he just passed out, right? He didn't like tap out with a smile on his face like John Cena did. But man, I'm not a fan of this Gunther guy who's got no mic skills. He's an awesome wrestler, but he's got no skills as far as I'm concerned as a character. So I don't like how he's retiring all the greats. Anybody who's in your top 5, top 10 wrestler, it looks like that's going to be Gunther's new thing, is taking him out. So whenever it's the time, probably CM Punk next, or Cody Rhodes, or somebody who's getting up there in age. If they're a big superstar, crowd favorite wrestler, they're getting taken out by Gunther eventually, and that just seems to be the fate of your favorite wrestlers in WWE. We had the WWE title match. Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre, and we had Drew McIntyre retain He looked good as the brutal heel, man. My opinions might be changing on Drew McIntyre. I wasn't a big fan of him, but like I like this new like vicious heel energy that he's showing. It's good stuff, man. Yeah, definitely. And then of course we had the main men battle royal, and I'm so glad it wasn't Gunther because he was like the final person in there with Roman Reigns. I was kind of hoping it was Randy Orton, but it ended up being Roman Reigns, which is cool. The head of the table. It'll be cool to see who he goes after. Will he go after Drew McIntyre in the WWE title? Will he go after CM Punk and the World Heavyweight title? We'll just have to see. Will those guys even still be champion by the time WrestleMania runs around? We still have the Elimination Chamber and stuff like that. Um, but somebody brought up to me that was super freaking interesting to think about is so AJ Styles is retiring supposedly from wrestling, but what if he is only retiring from WWE? What if he goes to another wrestling company? What if AJ Styles was to go to JCW? I know it probably won't happen, but if they can pay him, if I'm sure there's not a doubt in my mind that Vince Russo and Violent J wouldn't want uh AJ Styles to be in JCW. I don't know if that's even something that they've talked about with him or anything like that. I know Vince Russo used to work with AJ Styles in TNA. Um, it's just kind of a dream booking situation where uh, we'd have AJ Styles. There's so many TNA guys. There's Mr. Anderson. There's James Storm. Um, there's Caleb Conley and Suicide. Um, yeah, uh, we saw Nick Nemeth recently. Yeah, it'd be freaking awesome to see AJ Styles, the phenomenal one, in JCW. Um, Definitely hope that that happens. Well, guys, looks like we're out of time for this one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And let me know what you guys think of JCW so far. If you have any questions for me, leave them in the comments. I'll read all of them because, let's be honest, I don't get that many comments. But that could change. You guys could change it. Just leave a bunch of comments. See if I won't respond to them all. Spam me with comments as a challenge. See if I won't respond to them all. Uh, I guarantee I will. But much Wicked Clown love, guys. Good night. Sorry this took so long to come out tonight. This episode should be available about 7 o'clock a.m., somewhere between 7 o'clock a.m. to 11 o'clock a.m. tomorrow morning. For you to peep if you missed it. This is Pickle Rick, aka the Juggler, signing off. Giving 2 scoops of whoop to the Juggalo fam. And here's to hoping for bigger, better things. Always for JCW Lunacy. Peace.